Hey Jeremy, how's it going, bud? If you could be a peach and let me know how the audio is, that'd be great. Like between the Pokemon lo-fi and the microphone. Is it a good balance, or is the music too loud, or what? That'd be super helpful. Audio is good, good to hear. I need to optimize a lot of this stuff. I was getting all excited and adding stuff, and nothing's wrong with it, so I probably could leave it alone. I got so many like magic numbers and weird stuff going on here that I'm a little nervous. I want this to be cursor.x and cursor.y. Find all, is that all of them? Nope, I still have quite a bit. So cursor.x, cursor.y, find all. Let's just comment it out, and I probably don't need it. Cursor.x offset, cursor.y offset, cursor.x offset, and .y offset. Cursor x and cursor y equals 0. I don't think I need those anymore. Actually, I don't need those at all, because I defined those in the new cursor. Please run fine. He seems to be okay. Yep, okay. Okay, so these enumerators are for modes. Let's do keep all the enumerators in one spot. So we'll have modes here. Get the functions. Oh wait. Oh no, that's okay. So we'll take those here. I think we're good. So we'll do a node width and height. We'll just change this to node radius, and then we'll put that here. Macro node radius. Was it 48? Yeah. Should be good. Oh, good. Sweet. Okay. Target mode. Let's start putting things in the logical order here. So we'll have cursor first, target. When you select the target, this stuff seems really messy here. It's okay. We'll set, instead of setting the depth there, let's do in the room, create a new instance layer, depth minus 1,000. We'll call this controller layer. Put that on there. That works out so far. Oh, appearing behind. That's okay for now. All right. Inventory stuff. This can go away for now. All right. Switch mode. Oh. Case modes.scale break. I need to do a proper system for that. Proper state system too. Case modes.move break. Target, if there is a target. Draw the inventory bar. Let's change this to cursor.speed. And in our cursor, speed equals 0.6. I have two steps separated out. Shoot. Alright, so I have, this is to draw drawing the grid here. This is to draw block UI, draw the inventory, the cursor stuff. Yeah, it's gotta be in this order. You can get rid of lock sprite. Oh yeah, this is feeling much better. Alright, so we'll call this inputs. This is for control states, I guess. And this is for window and views. Alright, this is feeling a little better for me. What's up, Gargoyle? How you doing? Hello, hello. Feeling fine today. Had a nice quiet morning to myself. I thought I'd stream. It's been a really long time. I'm making this game that is somewhere between I don't know how to describe it. It's like a Minecraft slash Animal Crossing slash Tamagotchi toy. What's up, Yossi? How you doing, bud? And so the idea is that you build these environments through these like adaptable blocks here, and you can do that by just laying them down on the field and scaling them up or down. And there's different ways you can collect a ton more blocks. There'll be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, whether it's through vendors and shops or through daily gashapon polls, and they come out in a little machine or something. I haven't fleshed that out quite yet. But you lay these down, and depending on the size, they can be different things. Like for instance, this one's just like this little block here. If you get it a little bigger, it becomes a window, and if you get a little bit bigger, it becomes a door. And it's nice because you can start really fleshing out some of these shapes here pretty easily just by scaling these up and down, and you can make some really simple and beautiful little structures here. And then they also serve dual purposes. Like this actually just looks like a fence, right? But like, if I wanted this to be very big, I could put it down here, and then I could use a fence, make it double wide and then tall, and then it kind of looks like a ladder, right? So it's kind of like your creativity can create all these different looks and environments for your little levels here. And then once your level's fleshed out, depending on what you have, these little guys will start to spawn. So it's kind of like a Tamagotchi or a Pikmin, where they'll come and they'll just live in your world, and you can kind of pick them up and toss them around, and they can interact with different elements that you start building in the world. So the first step of what I'm doing is I've got it so clearly you can kind of lay down these shapes how you want and start to do some kind of cool things with them, and it makes actually a really pretty level pretty quick, as you can see. But what they don't have is like platforming mechanics built into them just yet. So you see these little pink lines over these blocks, and that's eventually what they'll become, so that you guys can start landing on them. The blocks are really well made. Thanks. Very nice detail with the different block designs. Yeah, thanks. It's been so much of a challenge, and I honestly kind of lucked out. It used to be I was making like a pixel version of this game, and the pixels were nice because really small, a pixel can be ambiguous. Like two pixels next to each other could be anything. It could be a pencil at that scale. It could be a stick. It could be anything really. So I was experimenting with having different designs, small. You can interpret it however you want, so you can use that for your creativity, because I didn't think that would translate to a higher resolution. But now that I have a higher resolution, I don't know if I agree with it, because using this ultra minimalized view, just very geometric, it kind of works, and I kind of dig it. So I'm gonna roll with that for a second. So what is the platform part you were fiddling with now? It looked kind of like you were trying to figure out a solution for something when I joined. I don't think I was trying to figure anything out. I was just trying to hook it up. So these pink lines will be jump through platforms, and I have his jump turned way up too high. And you won't actually, at this point, I don't think I'm going to have you control the little beans specifically. I want them to kind of just kind of live in your world, and they're kind of doing their own thing. You can interact with them. But for debug purposes, I have you controlling them. So Let me fix some of his values, and then we can kind of, instead of 200, let's make this, I don't know, 70 and see how that feels. Still too high, but you get the idea. Let's do 50. That's good. Okay, so you can see when I put up a block, now I've got this little crate out. So let's. Ooh, I need to delete the platform when they delete. So now that I have this little crate box out, he should be able to just jump through, which he can, and just sit on the crate. I wasn't necessarily stuck. I just hadn't put in that feature yet. So now you can do jump through platforms, and you can drag them through and drop them down on the platforms as well, and you can kind of throw them. All right. So on the block, when this has been destroyed with platform last but not least, well, I want to make sure they're being deleted first. So there's a mushroom. So one thing that I want to do too is I don't necessarily want the fence to be a platform, which it is appearing as right now. So what I have to do is set it to be a platform automatically. So by default, I think I'll have them false. And then when I'm adding them, I don't know if I want that part of the argument. I'm gonna have to change some of the way these things are set up. Can make an item that a player can use on a beam to control it. Achievable item. Yeah, it could be. I think I wanted to go with something where it's like what would make this different than, I don't want it to be a platformer, and I don't want it to be too hands off either. I kind of wanted to have this world where, depending on the levels and environments you build, your world and its inhabitants will come to life differently. So if you had a more castle theme, for instance, you might get weapons and characters that look like they belong to that theme. So it's still interactive, but your focus is on like creating the world and letting the inhabitants naturally spawn into this world, and you're acting almost like a like a, I don't want to say a god, but like you're also like, it's like you've got like interactive sea monkeys or something. They're just like your little pets. And you're the one that's just there kind of making this world an environment for them, and they get to live in there, and you can interact in different ways. So just as an example, like right now, you can like pick them up and move them around. You can see he's got the little animation for it, and they're pretty animated as terms of what I added in there. If you tap on them, they can do an attack. This guy's got a sword, so in this, he's gonna actually just do an animation, and it varies. Like in the night, it's just for flavor right now. If you have like a cafe and you built like an indoor seating place, the guy might pull out a sandwich, and when you click on him, you might take a bite of his sandwich or something like that. So it's mainly just for completely chill vibes. There's no punishment, no consequence, and things are pretty optimized that way. So you're encouraged to change your environment pretty often. So if you've got this like, you might have this tower. I'm gonna take off. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna hide these platforms. So You might have this tower or something like that, like this for instance, and you've got this long mushroom structure. And it might not be anything. So what this might look like is maybe birds see this as a tall structure, so birds will naturally come in and kind of jump around and kind of sit up here, and then they'll maybe fly away and just, you know, create some vibes for you to chill with. However, if you were to shrink this down, and then this becomes a door, and it just becomes like your grassy roof. Maybe one of these guys might come along and then go inside the door, and then now this becomes a structure for that. So you can kind of slightly change things around, and they'll be able to interact with it differently. So that's the idea, at least for right now. So I've got platforms. I need a way of defining item types. The more you build on this idea, yeah, it's pretty young, and it was just a way of, so you can kind of see, like, I've created like asset packs before, and I was just building something really simple. I've got trees that you can build up eventually, and you know, I was building just typical stuff like this for platformers, things that you could auto tile. I said, you know what, that'd be really cool if you can, these structures can kind of live and breathe and become like blocks that become alive. Like when they get a little bit larger, you know, at what point do they turn into something else because it's too large? Like I might be able to have a tree here, and I'll show you how these things kind of come to life here. So I think I might have a tree already somewhere in the back end. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's fairly unique, but it's fun, and it's a way for me to kind of showcase my art, which has been fun. I don't have a heck of a lot of time these days, so it's been nice. Oh yeah, so I was making some buildings. You can kind of see them down here, where I was like, you know, they look pretty much the same, just scaled up and down differently. So that kind of led to some inspiration that kind of became what it is right now. Okay, so I have this like tree structure here. I'll show you how easy this is to add things. So left, what's it divided out by, like 128? Yeah, so okay, so let's set this to, the left is repeat, the bottom is on repeat, the right is on repeat, the top is on repeat, and then the middle is also on repeat. Okay, so I've got this tree here, SPR. Let's not go too totally sloppy with it. Block tree. I'll just call this small. Let's create an icon for it. All right, the tree's over here, so let's do where's my icons? Here, there. Oh, let's just use this icon and everything because it's already made. SPR tree icon. Yeah, and I think you know, the architecture is really oversimplified. It's just geometric shapes, and it's just overly simple. But I think there's some charm to it once you add in a kind of, the reason why I have the character loaded so early on in this project in there is because it adds another dimension of life where they're not just abstract or snap to a grid. They're just overly simplified, so it kind of ties that all together. And the world will be alive, so I've toyed with the idea of, like, even though you lay down the trees in that kind of blocky method, after you lay them down, they'll start to sway and move, and just kind of, without, you know, I don't want everything to look like it's locked to a grid, but I want things to look simple and pretty easy to manage here. SBR tree icon is fine. Let's export that out. All right, so now we have a tree. Let's SBR block tree icon. Set that at the bottom. Up. The icons are fun in the upper left. Yeah. Okay, so let's increase. All right. Inventory.add new item SPR block tree icon. So here's the icon, and then here you can start to put in the different variations of how the block will move. So it goes small, medium, large, which means if it's 1 by 1, 2 by 2, or 3 by 3. But then you also have things for it to be tall or wide. So if it's just 1 or 2 wide and over 3 tall, you might be able to change it to something additional in the future. So I left the kind of path open for that. So I think that's all I have to do if I did my job, and the tree should appear as a block now. Yeah, so I have the tree down here. You can see how easy that was to add. So I can drag that out, and it doesn't look good as a 1 by 1 right now, but you can see that when it's a 2 by 2, it's just a little tree. And then as you scale up, you know, because of the way GameMaker does 9 slices, you can kind of make these little things. And how cool is this? You could even even this is just, it could be anything. That could just be like a little piece of foliage down here that you can do whatever with. You know, now there's half an arrow. I don't know how you could use these in all the different combinations of it, but you know, there's some good applications of how you can use this. So, and then if you go 2 wide, it starts to make multiple trees. So if you wanted to do a forest, you could have like this, D to duplicate it, and then you could, you know, do multiple trees. Like, let's say maybe we can do a 2 down here, and then maybe it's just a row of small trees leading up to that point. And already you've got kind of like this little geometric forest thing. You could have the mushroom, like, you know, make that 2 across and really tall, and maybe that's kind of towering over the trees. And then in the background, you can kind of push it back. But you can start to see like how these little things, you know, you can make different things than what they were actually intended. So like, look at this mushroom. We'll have a mushroom here and this little guy, and then now I have like this like totem thing. That's pretty interesting too. Actually, you know what? Look, you can like kind of give it like a hat or 2 eyes. You could flip it underneath, kind of give it like a grass skirt type thing. I don't know. It's really just I want to get it in the hands of people and see what they can make just based off of that. Now we got kind of like this little, look at this little robot guy. Send that to the very back, and those are like arms. Look, he almost looks like he's a little rocket ship or something. I don't know. I could play like this all day. It's fun. He said, "Oh damn! I just realized how simple you could set up the entire engine. You got almost no objects. You could. I have right now. One, because I'm a shitty programmer, and number 2, because it was just the easiest way of doing it. Each one of these is an object, but technically, yeah. The way I originally had it is they were just all placed on an asset. They were just sprites on an asset layer, and then every time I needed it, I had it kind of loop through the asset layer, find whatever one I thought the user was clicking on, and then it created one object to act as like a gizmo. And then once you were ready to lay the asset back down, you just did it that way. But at the same token, I'm of the sentiment of if it's not broken, don't fix it. So if it's running fine and it runs how I need to, I don't care super much about how it's done, just as long as it's doing what it's supposed to. So, anyways, yeah, you can see like all of these. You've seen me create a bunch of stuff already, just in using them as building blocks here. Like looking because those are the same color, they look like little missiles or something. I don't know, but it's actually just a palm tree or a pine tree. Yeah, it can be. Again, a lot of things that game makers, I should say, most game makers, but especially in Game Maker Studio, for projects really simple and it doesn't require some advanced optimization, um, at what point do you say, you're building these systems, and it's early optimization. If it's, if your game was always running at 60 frames per second, it doesn't matter how your game is coded if it always runs at 60 frames a second. So you run with whatever you're comfortable with or whatever you did at the time, and you worry about, if my game comes to a screaming halt and people are saying like, oh, it starts to lag when I put on this many objects on the screen, yeah, then maybe I go back in and start, changing some stuff around. But until then, I don't see the point. No use in uprooting your code every time you add something just because you're worried about the future on it. Famous last words though, I guess, right? But yes, generally speaking, more anything is will slow your game down. More objects, more drawing, more batch calls. That's the thing I think I'm most concerned in is the game is 1920 by 1080, like it's in full HD, and I wanted to do that because I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but the art's so beautiful. I wanted to showcase it, and I wanted everything to look really nice and crispy. So I did want this to be able to eventually scale into higher resolution screens. So I didn't want to sacrifice that. Yeah, that's coming along nicely. I think everything has a platform right now, so you'll stick to everything. Okay. So now I've got this tree in here. Another thing to think about too, when to have like, oh, it's just one controller that just controls everything. Sure, and you might be creative enough and smart enough to come up with that solution, but I also am concerned about readability. Like, I would rather have these separated out objects that have one specific purpose than have just hundreds of thousands of lines of code on one step event, and then I have to navigate through that every time I want to make a change. So, because I'm a visual person, I think that's important for me to have that distinction. You can see everything's, even the icons that you won't see, and it's just a personal style of what I like. Like for my controller, I put an icon in here that doesn't even need to be compiled into the game. But it's just for the room editor to let me know, like, hey, there's a controller here, and then like, oh, all my solid objects are these big purple blocks. Like, it's important for me to, as a coder, as a developer, to see these really clear design choices. All right, so we got platforms on there. What we need to make on the to-do. Generate platforms based on blocks, which we are generating platforms for. I'm actually going to add another to-do on here that says edit item properties, so that I know which items I want to create solids for and which ones don't need to be solids. Actually, let me try something here, and that's that I haven't done. Come from Pygame. Oh, cool. Yeah, I started and ended with Game Maker, so my experience with this is also very limited to whatever works for Game Maker. So even though the visual part is helpful, I'm used to having things divided into code and text, with important such. Sure. GameMaker's heading there. We got some useful functions recently, actually within the last year or so, that really help us become more in line with regular programming languages, but it's still its own beast and has its own quirks. Alright, so let's try some inheritance for some of these function item, constructor. Function. Item. Platform. Let's have the same arguments. Except platform equals true. Oh, this isn't using inheritance the way it needs to, but that's okay. Let's do. That's interesting. So now let's do. Okay, so using this method, there should be no platforms. There are platforms. Why is that creating a platform? Oh. It's not -1. False is 0. Derp. Okay, so he should fall through. Yes. Okay. So we want. Let's see. Grass should not be a platform. The fence should not be a platform. The mushroom should. The door should not. The crate should. And the tree should not. So I should be able to create a fence and have my guy fall through it. I should be able to create a mushroom, have my guy land on it, which he doesn't. Oh, because I turned it off. Platform true. I like GameMaker Studio, only the layer part is a puzzle for me. How to control it, what is front, what is... yeah, the layers are a little strange. So basically, alright, I'm going to simplify this way down. People like to confuse what layers are. Layers is just a name for the depth, and the depth is how your objects are drawn to a screen, and the higher negative depth you have, the closer to your eyes they are. So the only really important thing in here you see is where it says depth equals 0. So all this layer is doing is giving a name to all the instances that have a depth of 0, and you can change the layers and you can place them at certain depths rather than having the depth decided in the character event. So you can see that I have like my instances are all at depth 0, or you could either do it that way. So everything that I add onto this layer will have a depth of 0. Or I can change. Let me see where it is. Like I have the controller. I can also do like depth equals -1000. Actually, let me show you what that looks like. So in my instance, you can see I have like the character drawn, and then the controller, so that the character will be further behind. That's why my cursor, you can see this is this is a bug here, and we can fix this in real time here. The cursor should be over the character, right? But the reason why it's not is because I think if because whatever's lower on here should have the depth issue. So I think no, something else is going on at play. All right, so basically I need the controller to be closer to the player's face. So I'm going to say depth equals negative 1000 because everything at since the instance layer is at 0. Originally the controller will be drawn at 0, and then I'm going to bring it up by just saying depth equals negative 1000. So that's going to bring it closer to the user's eyes. And now it is. See, the cursor is so the character is at depth 0, and the controller, which is drawing the cursor, is at negative 1000. So it's closer to my eyes. That's all there is to it. So layers are just naming the depth at which things are drawn. That's all. I mean, technically you could have like one instance layer and then draw everything to it, and then in code you can just change the depth and then things will draw as you think they would be anyways. Yeah, it's just like if you're familiar with spreadsheets at all too, it's just like a named range. Like doesn't change the fact of what's in the cell, it just gives a name to whatever's in that range also for readability. So you could say everything at depth 0 is on the instance layer. But you could also have an instance layer at depth minus 500 and depth of 500, and they're all just layers, but it's just giving a name to how far into the scene they are. That's all. People like to make things really complicated. Don't know why. But now you can see that all the elements are drawing correctly in the right order. You can see me grab this little guy in the head. You couldn't do that before. Poke, poke, poke. Poke, poke. Alright. So now we have all of our things drawing correctly. Didn't work for walking behind trees. Yeah, okay, so when you have like a tile layer and you want your character to like kind of weave in and out of your tile layer, it becomes much more complicated. But what you're finding is that, yeah, if your tile layer is all on one layer, then your character can only be in front of it or behind it. So I won't get too much into it because there's I could go down a rabbit hole, but what you want to do technically is create a layer for every row of tiles. So you'll have like row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, and that way your player can be in front of some rows and behind of other rows at the same time. You don't want all your tiles on one layer if you're doing depth that way. Lots of ways to do it, and sometimes GameMaker picks the hard route, but here we are. So I should be able to treat this like a platforming game now. Nice. Very cool. Gonna fall over. Neat. So now the blocks that I lay actually have these elements that my character can start jumping on. It's very nice. And these characters are like ultra customizable. There's lots of things that you can do with them. I had this on a project before where there was a stream overlay and you could actually interact with your own character through chat commands, and that was with Twitch. This is my actual first time streaming on YouTube entirely. And I haven't tagged anything correctly, so I'm sure I'm not showing up in the right places, but that's okay. I'll show you what that looked like. But you could actually have items and find items and equip them to your own character, and then like the chat through the stream chat would show up in game. It was pretty cool. We had a good time doing that. One of my more favorite projects we've done. Yeah, exactly like stream avatars. Yep, exactly. But it was a little bit more um, alive, I guess you could call it. It was very animated, and it was actually a whole border. You can see here an example of some people using it. So in the upper right, there the chat would appear up here. You could see this blacksmith. Like the scene would change. It would go to different like environments, and then it would say type sword to equip. So depending on what environment you were in, like on this one, if you got the blacksmith scene, like you could type in sword and you could equip a sword for your character, and it was persistent. So whenever you logged in, your character would always have the sword. So people were always trying to watch, be like, oh, I need to find the scene with the blacksmith so I can get the sword, or oh, I wanted to get the one with the the retro video game one so I could get the Mario hat, and people were always kind of tuning in for that. I thought that was a lot of fun. But you can kind of see the little beans interacting here. This one's not super diverse in what they're wearing. Let me see if I can find. This one's a little bit more. You can see folks are starting to collect some items and build their character, and you've got some really funny looking guys on here. So this will be the same, except I don't know how interactive I want to make it from a stream point of view. You probably could, but I want this more to be a game that you can just pull out of your pocket on your phone and mess with and then close it. Just real quick in and out. Very casual gameplay. They also could fight. You can get into random battles, like a slime would come and just one of the streamers at random would start fighting them and other people. You could vote to heal them so other people could contribute, and if they got too hurt, you could heal them a little bit, or you could give them some praise and they get attack plus and all that. So it was a lot of fun. I had a good time doing that. So that was what the project originally was, and now I've got this layer of like building the environments around them. Yeah, the customizable characters, and you'll be able to do that for these guys too. It's a bit different now. It's not so much like a community overlay. It's more of a one-player experience, or it will be online eventually, and you'll be able to like visit towns and give items and that kind of stuff. But for right now, this is what it is. You can start to see kind of what those little beam characters evolved into. Gave him a Game Maker shield instead of a Twitch shield. Alright, so I got my platforming elements now, which is nice. I feel like it's just a door, so no, I don't want people to jump on this. It looks like you should be able to jump on it, but you can't. But that's fine, I think. Yeah, okay. Next up on the list. Alright, so we did edit item properties. I'm going to delete that for now because we created that. Scripture implementation so people can talk. That might be next. Concept sensitive menu. Right now I have it so like once you lay a block, there's a few things eventually you'll be able to do with it. Right now you can see it. It's just it's just a mushroom here. If you click on it, and you can tell you can click on it because it becomes the hand. When you click and hold, you get this grid, so you could remove it anywhere you want on the grid. If your hand, when it gets to this little node up here, kind of snaps to the node. Then after you've snapped to the node, you can grab it and start to scale your things up and down. You can actually flip them in reverse. Oh, I just realized it's not changing to the correct thing if it's flipped. Okay, that's good to know. So we've got this here. So you can scale it, you can move it, and you can scale it. And right now I have it, if you push D, it duplicates it, which just makes it really easy. And then if you push delete, it just deletes the item. But what I want, and why this game actually started about in this version of it, is I've got a baby at home, and I'm not able to play games the way I needed to anymore. So I wanted a game that I can, if I have one hand available, I can play games, right? I can load something up in my browser and play, and then I wanted something that I can open, do something real quick, and then get out with. So a casual experience, or if I have time to sit down, I can sit down on a computer and play it as well. So
I want everything to be able to be either controlled by only the mouse or only one hand as far as touch controls go. So without the delete or the duplicate key, I've got to get creative with how I want these different elements to go. And I don't want to make things, because it is so simple, I don't want to make it too UI heavy. So if I click on the mushroom, I want to be able to delete it. So I'm thinking the way I want is after you move it, these icons down here at the bottom will disappear, and I'll have like a trash can so I can drag this into the trash. I also think it would be cool to change the colors of the mushrooms. So in addition to having these, change into different forms, I can also change the colors so that something like this, could be, this could be a cloud, as an example, if I want to change this color to white. I think that would be super cool. So maybe, as I'm moving it, you can kind of dip it in paint. You have a little paint bucket, snaps there and colors it every time you snap it in. Or I could throw it away by having a trash down here. So I need a context sensitive menu. I got 2 sons at 6 and 7, so I was there not long ago. Totally get it. Well, absolutely, man. It's a lot of it's just a lot of work, and I don't want to take away from the baby experience so I can do gaming. So of course the gaming takes a backseat. I haven't developed for a long time, but it's actually my 3rd kid. I've got 11-year-old, 7-year-old, and I say baby, but he's actually going to be turning 1 in 2 days. So it's kind of changed how it's changed the types of games that I want to make now, because I want to create games that are fun for me to play. That I can take my phone out of my pocket, do 1 or 2 things, then put my phone back before, in between boiling water of dinner and doing all that other stuff. So I don't have the hours to sit down in front of a computer that I once had, for right now and for quite some time. So that's kind of what's inspired the change to this project a bit. And it seems like a really small detail, but I want, I love how this cursor to follows the path. I thought that was fun. It just makes it seem more alive. I want the characters to be able to talk to the hand like they think this magic hand is just going through the land creating stuff. Rather than looking at the camera and talking to the camera and looking at the user, I want them to see this hand as like, oh, it's the hand. The hand is making things in our world, and oh, all hail the hand. I think that would be kind of fun. Yeah, 1 year is still diapers and sleeping in my parents' stomach. Absolutely, you know how it goes. My 1-year-old, and I'll keep it short because I don't want to. I talk about this all the time, and I don't want to not dwell on it, but it's neither here nor there. But he's a high needs baby, meaning that he was born with a heart defect, so he's always at the doctors and always having tests done. He's healthy for now. We're never completely in the health clear, but he had open heart surgery at just a few days old, and he was extremely sick, and we spend a lot of time in hospitals. And then in addition to that, this kid's got no chill. He doesn't like sleeping. He's a very whiny kid, and I love him to death, but he requires so much attention. I don't have a lot of time to do anything else really. He's a full-time job and then some. So even still, it's for him being 1 year old, he's a lot of work. Cool. So I like the way this is shaping up. It feels really good. Okay. So I want that menu. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, though. I do want to add a camera so I can create stuff on a wider scale and see how that feels. So maybe we'll do that right now. So, excuse me. So let's start doing some camera commands here. So I want to be able to pan the camera over. And I want to be able to I hope and wish the best for your kid. When he gets to be 5 or 6, he's gonna be the best kid, best thing ever with that energy. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. You know, at 1 years old too, they get their personalities. They stop becoming just like this is a baby, you know, and start becoming like, oh, this is my baby. This is unique person, and here are his quirks, and here's how he likes to make people laugh, and here's what he likes, and here's what he doesn't like, and you know, you start to get a real individual energy around then. So it's been fun to watch him develop. And his older brother and sister just love him to pieces. They just adore that kid. They're very good at taking care of him and playing and including him in everything too. There's a 10-year gap between the oldest and the youngest, so it's pretty big. But you know what, he kind of fell into just a really protective and very sweet, you know, big brother role, and it's been really fun to see them grow together. Let's add camera controls. So what I want to do is pan this view around so that I can see more of the screen, because right now it's just a single view. There's a few things that I know for a fact aren't going to happen. Well, let's just go into it and see. So I have my controller. Let's do some camera controls. And I have a basic thing set up. Let me see how I do this. So it's just controlling the view here. So let's do if keyboard check VK right. Not only is my player gonna move, but camera dot export. I don't know. View export 0 plus or equal to 10. I don't know if that's the way it works. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Okay, so that's moving the camera over. My guy hits a wall. Oh, it's creating the port. I don't know what it is I'm looking for. Let me pull up in the help and see. It's not the port that I want to change, it's like the view. Camera set view X. Where's the set view? Position. Camera get view X. Camera plus 10. Camera get view Y. Camera. That's everything, right? What's it saying? Take the semicolons out of your macros, Samuel. There we go. Okay. So now I know I'm limited there. So let's do in the room. So, oh, you know what? This is the wrong room to do that in. That's a single room. Okay, so we'll change the room to this guy. Um. Like right in the middle of nowhere. Hmm. If keyboard check VK, let's say already Q, the view of the camera should be at 0, 0, and then let's also make the objects visible so I can see what's going on here. It's the upper left, I think so. Yeah, but then where's my guy? Is he just falling through, or what's happening here? Very strange. All right, let's do a simple click and drag for like the pan. So let's add another mode, and we'll call this mode scale pan. The controller will say if mouse check button pressed MB right, we should say mode equals modes.pan and mouse x offset equals mouse x, mouse y offset equals mouse y. Did it change both depth? Oh yeah, I think that's where I wanted it though too. I appreciate you reminding me, but it was wrong to begin with. I wanted it closer to the player because the cursor was appearing behind um, the character, but the controller depth wouldn't have changed. You know, the character's right here, and because the character is in the room when I start the room, something happens to the character, and I'm not sure exactly what. Don't know. I'll worry about that in a second. Okay, so hmm.
I need a way. So when I right click, it becomes on pan mode, and there's the offset. Case modes.pan. So here's what happens when I'm panning. So camera set view position for the camera. Camera! And the X will be mouse X minus mouse X offset, mouse Y minus mouse Y offset. And I need to change those, or else it'll just scroll indefinitely. I think there's no way it's that easy. Oh yeah. Okay. I gotta think of my logic here. If it's before, nothing should happen. Then when I click on this, which it does, okay. So, oh, that could have been right in the first place. Yep. So the X difference equals mouse X minus mouse X offset. Var Y difference equals mouse Y minus mouse Y offset. Var X view equals camera get view X camera, Y view equals camera get view Y camera. So then I want this to be X view plus X difference and Y view plus Y difference, and then reset the mouse. Without typos this time. Mosu! Mosu! Nice, it does pan. Perfect. All right, so then I'll just do if not mouse check button. If I'm not clicking on the right click, then I just got to change the mode. Equals modes dot what's the original one? Select. It's not changing though. Oh, burp. I put that in the wrong spot. Samuel. Okay, cool. I can pan now. Yay! So let me think about this in terms of a finger though. So if I grab here and move that way, it's the opposite though. So I gotta do, it needs to subtract it rather than add to it. Grab here. Yes! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Alright, so then we'll do, yeah, look at this. Okay, so we'll do... That was easy. So we'll open up, is it the control states? Windows and views, yeah, and then the draw for the cursor stuff. Case modes dot pan break. I want that to be the same as yeah, let's do this. Okay, so cursor dot index equals cursors dot hand. If sprite how do I do this? Cursor dot sprite, what's it called? I don't know, let's just do it this way. Mouse. No, let's not do all this crap. Alright, so let's just do angle default equals 0 for now. That's okay. Actually, I don't do anything. Maybe it'll preserve it. So, oh, nice, yeah. Nice, I got this little hand that pans. Oh, that feels great. Yay! Now, where's my dude? Where's my little guy? Yeah, I didn't do a good job there. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so now I can pan across. That works for me. And it's kind of as I would expect it to. That feels great. Okay, so now let's not do the embarrassing thing and have this stuck down here. Ooh, where's that actually appearing? Ooh, something's wrong with my instances in this room. That's interesting. It's not drawing them in the right spot. Maybe that's what's happening to the character. And also, what the heck? Well, yes, even though you'd be able to see him falling, number one, and number two, this is a solid, which means he can't penetrate that no matter what. So I put him right on top of there so he'll stay, and he doesn't seem to want to stay. All right, let's fix the UI. I'm gonna keep that in the regular draw, even though I shouldn't. So let's do. It's not the cursor. Block UI maybe. I gotta change the block grid as well. That's okay. So let's do first the block UI here. So the inventory bar isn't at the room height. Let's add some macros in here. So let's do camera bottom. We'll do camera top. Macro camera right. Macro camera left. So the bottom is camera get view X of camera. Oh no, it's the view Y plus camera get view height of camera. So then the top is just that. The left will be get the view X, and the right should be plus camera get view width. I think. So now that we have these, we can say draw a rectangle at camera bottom. Oh wait. Camera left. Camera bottom. Camera right. Camera bottom minus 192. Ew, magic numbers! Nope, it still doesn't appear in the right spot. Why not? Camera left, camera bottom. Left bottom, right bottom, minus 92. False. Ooh. Oh yeah, it does. Burp. It's right at the bottom. Of course. Alright. So this should be camera bottom minus cell height. Is that all I gotta change? No. It needs to be starting from camera lefts though. Yeah. Almost. Okay, so camera left plus all this stuff. Okay, now our bar is good. There's also some checks in here when I click. If the mouse is greater than, let's do another macro, and we'll call this inventory top, and that's going to be camera bottom minus 192. So then we could say if the mouse Y is greater than the inventory top, Nice. Okay. Well, that seems to work. But my objects aren't appearing here. Why? All right, let's do this. Let's open up all visible. Let's delete the controller and see what happens.
Why aren't they appearing?
On this room they are. I think. Yeah, they are. Is it just something about that room that I didn't catch? Yeah, I can pan this around even though that's the end of the room. Oh, I see. I gotta do another check when I clicked on it. Okay, so the mouse X. Oh man, this should be minus camera left, I think. Yeah, okay. Well, it appears here. I don't know what the deal is. Weird. Alright, so maybe we just abandon that room. Maybe there's something going on in that room that I can't explain. So let's delete that room. We have our room 1, which works nicely. Let's do some testing. So let's duplicate this room. We'll call this RM testing. And we'll make it much larger. We'll say it'll be 5,000 by, actually, you know what, let's just oh wait, no, that's wrong, that needs to be 1920. 5,000. Now we'll just test panning in one direction. And hopefully we'll see our objects, which we do. Weird. I don't know. Sometimes it'd be like that. It had to probably do with the depth. The depth was probably being drawn behind one of the backgrounds on that other one or something. I don't know exactly. Panned! Nice, it pans very nicely. But I don't want it to pan past the limits, right? I want it to be like in the specific space. So let's try doing that, and hopefully that won't do too much. I like how easy the pan happened, though. I kind of wasn't expecting that, so that's great. All right. I want to do whatever is more, 0 or... Actually, let's just do... X view equals clamp, and I want it to clamp between 0 And let's see, so I want it to be room width minus, did it add camera width? Y view equals clamp between Y view 0 room height minus camera get view height of camera. I don't know if this is a messy way of doing it. I'll fix it in a second. Nice. No, it doesn't pull to the right at all, though. Room width minus camera get view. It is clamped between 0 and the room width minus the camera view. Height? Well, let's try just with the minimum then, I guess. Or whatever's more, 0 or that. Okay, so that works. So it's just the way I'm cutting it. Okay, all right. So what if we did var x move equals max 0 y view minus x difference. X move. Is that right? Yes, okay. But I should be able to pan it more farther out. Okay, so I want to do whatever the maximum is of this or the minimum between that and room width minus camera get view width of camera. Okay, go left. Oh, nice. I think that worked. How come it's stuck on that weird little... It was like just a couple pixels too big. Oh yeah, it's like... Oh, because the grid is 5,000 instead of an even something. That works. Nice, that worked. I don't want it to go too past the limits just because of the grid, the way it works. I know you can get that really satisfying like bounce effect there, but I think this is fine. All right, so let's do the same thing. Equals min max 0 y view minus y difference room height minus camera get view height of camera. X move, Y move. I don't need these. Nice. Yeah, the panning works. Pan, pan, pan. Nice, we have panning! Woo! Now, the true test. Yeah, we can pan Sweet, look at that. All right, let's create a little mushroom thing. Oh, I need to make this so it repeats. That's okay. Right, so add in here. We'll add a little box. Why not? We'll move that up. We'll have a little mushroom platform coming off the back here. I don't love this tree. We'll add some foliage in here. Start the next house. Nice. So then, technically... Oh, I forgot I added the pan controls. No! That's okay. I can have my little guy go through the level. Nice. Feeling good. Well, the platforms work correctly. Why is the team getting stuck? Strange. Oh, because it's... Oh no. He gets stuck on the platform if it's behind. Oh, that's a weird logic thing. Okay. Platform behind structures. Figure out solution. All right, camera. I didn't do zoom yet. I'm gonna save that for another day. I did platform. All right, let's change. I'm gonna be running out of time here in a second, which is fine. All right, so I don't want. I do want that. Where did I do the VK, right? Yeah, I don't want that. And I don't want to reset the camera. That's great. That makes things a lot more interesting. All right, so let's just do a few quality of life changes on here. So I have this background. I have a few backgrounds. It's this one I want. And it needs to loop that. So I think I can just change that there. Change that horizontally, and now that'll loop. No, it crease. That crease at. I think. Yep. Oh, GameMaker crashed. Did I? Oh, no, I'm silly. No crease. Sweet. It's starting to feel really, really good. Alright, so we've got this repeating background. Let's get rid of. Let's make it looking real good. So I don't want the solids to appear. Four, 8, 48, 64. Alright, so let's do some stuff. So if his state is just idle, that's fine. But let's make it so we could like walk around and stuff or something. So we'll do idle, walk. I'll say wander. No, I'll say walk. Ooh. Switch state. Why did I do it this way? case character states dot touch break case character states dot hang break. If state doesn't equal character states dot title exit. I think that's what I wanted. Case character states dot title break. Exit means it's the same as like return. It means get out of this script. But exit means like rather than just this function, it means like get out of the whole thing. Like stop running this step. Exit it completely. Every time a character exit is not a no actions allowed. Let me make sure everything's still working in my state machine here. Just seems to be. Yay. Okay, so let's have something called a state counter equals 0, and then we'll do like state change. I gotta make a better state system too. Okay. So we'll do a state counter. We'll do state change equals function of a state. State counter equals 0. State equals state. State change character states dot touch. Dot attack. Dot aim. Still good. All right. Rolling with it. Okay, so state counter. Plus or equal to 1. If state counter equals actually, let's just do if one, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals 0. State change character states dot walk. Case character states dot walk break. For the walk, we'll say x speed equals 10. Animation play. Was it animation play? It wasn't. Have I just been? Oh yeah. Skeleton and no, I haven't been doing that though. I created something for that, didn't I? I called it. Yeah, I called it play. Play walk. If I random 1 in 1,000 chance. State change character states dot idle. So if he'll start walking on his own, that'd be neat. Actually, let's make it much more common than. Walk, sir. Show debug message worked. Equals 1. Let's do one every 100. There he goes. Nice. Okay, yeah, he's grooving. He's working. Speed equals 10. He should be walking, though. I wonder if he's stuck in the ground. So let's pull him up 1. Damn, it really does take a while. Alright, let's just trigger it. If keyboard check pressed ORD 1. So if I push 1, he should start to walk. Which he doesn't! How come it said work and he started it, but he didn't? W? Is it the 1 thing? Yeah, he's sure not. What the heck? Oh, it is working. He's just not moving at all. Why is he not moving? Oh, because 10's too low. Oh, is 100? Is 100 too low? What's his X friction? It's only 3? Why isn't that working? Oh, because it's not... Ay, ay, ay. I'm terrible. And state doesn't equal to character states dot walk, because the physics still need to happen. Whoa! Goodbye! That was funny. There he goes. That's a nice little walk. Let's change it down to 3. It's cute.
Just like a little readjustment. Yeah, I can dig it. I think you should be walking around twice as much. So let's change this to like 400. Should walk more. Which W you should walk, yep. That's cool. I can dig it. Alright. Alright. So, and then we'll have one, I'll do one more, and then I gotta go. So we'll do case character states dot turn break, and then we'll say facing times or equal to -1. And we'll change walk, turn, touch, state change, states dot character states dot idle, and then I'll go right back to it. So x scale equals facing. So now he can choose whether he's gonna turn. Oh, whoops. Okay, hold on. X speed equals 3 times facing. Please turn left sometimes. Yeah, there's the turn. Little walk. Little flip, maybe. Or maybe he'll walk again. We'll see. Oh, he looks so much more alive, though. Yep, good. There's this little walk. I need him to turn around, though. Yeah, there's the turn. Come on, man, do it. Well, one thing is certain. I need this. He needs to do something like every second. There's the walk. The flip. Actually, when he flips, let's do if state counter is equal to 0, x scale. Oh, I don't have all that other stuff. I don't think I set that up. That's okay. Can't do that yet. I should be able to pick them up all the same. I don't think I could pick him up when he's walking though, which not be a bad deal. That's okay. It's fun. Yeah, I like him. One step closer to these little pet Tamagotchi things. That's great. Alright, I'm gonna end this stream here though. Gargoyle, you the MVP. Thank you so much. Let's see where he's running off to. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll try to do this. I can't promise more than once a week. I would want to do once a week or so, but whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, you could search Mash Arcade if you'd like to look for it again. You could also follow me on Twitter at Mash Arcade. I post a lot of stuff, and this is my number one right now, just kind of getting this off the ground, so I have something to play with and maintain my sanity. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And have yourself a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.